Looking not 205, which I think is probably a little easier for you.
Yeah, definitely not 205 this time. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong.
Yeah. So what are you walking out, around at right now?
Probably 255, 260.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You just got done talking to Vanderlei. Mm-hmm. Now, from what I understand, was he one of the driving forces behind telling you, listen, you may want to fight at heavyweight and cut the 205 drop?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of came to me after my last fight. He's seen how hard it was on my body for me to cut down to 205. He's seen the weight that I cut. You know, I think we went back and looked at some of the films and actually got like a date set. Like it was 8 weeks and it was 80 pounds. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't healthy at all. You know, that doesn't mean down the road that, you know, if I get the weight off properly that I don't go back down to 205. But for this fight and maybe the near future, you know, he talked to me about going to heavyweight and staying at heavyweight for a while. And you know, he's my coach, and so, you know, I got to listen to what he has to say and you know, kind of talked it over and then called up Monty and said, let's try heavyweight out. So
yeah. It seems to me like they're, especially outside of the UFC and Strikeforce, you may have more opportunities at heavyweight anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that wasn't the driving force. The driving force was definitely how hard it was on my body. Right. I mean, honestly, you know, taking that much weight off in that little of a time is really like you start messing with taking years off your life. You know, that's hard on the organs, hard on the body, and pretty rough. So.
And I think you might have more in the gas tank with the extra 50 pounds on.
Well, yeah, I guarantee I do. I guarantee. I'm in phenomenal shape right now. You know, I'm killing my workouts up to this point. You know, I was killing the same workouts that I was having a hard time with at you know, when I was cutting to 205 because I wasn't eating. I'm killing them now because I can eat and you know, go home and rest properly and feel good. And so, yeah, I feel awesome.
All right, so what do you think about King Mo taking a fight at heavyweight? He's a pretty small heavyweight, and he said he'll fight you wherever. It doesn't matter. Size matters, doesn't it, to a certain extent?
I think it does. It's definitely going to matter this time. I mean, you know, I think to my knowledge, he was kind of forced to take this fight. You know, he wanted a fight in Strikeforce, and they offered him my name a couple of times, and I think it came down. You know, I was itching for a fight too, and they offered me him. I said, absolutely, let's do it. So.
Golden opportunity for you, because for a guy with almost no fights under his belt, he's a gigantic name. I mean, that's crazy to say, and you know, you're a guy who's pushing 25, 30 fights, and yet I think the newer audience with MMA knows who he is, and maybe doesn't know who you are.
I mean, it just goes to show you like how like I mean, it's sad to say like that somebody with 5 fights can come in and be looked at as somebody who's gonna put somebody in trouble with 30 fights. I mean, I just don't understand what sport these people are watching that think this. I mean, yeah, he's overpowered a couple Japanese guys that he was bigger than. I feel he got really lucky against Travis View. You know, Travis obviously is a veteran. You know, he caught Travis. Other than that, he hasn't done anything. You know, he overpowered some guys that he was bigger than, stronger than, more athletic than, and had a extensive wrestling background that he fell back on. That these Japanese guys had no wrestling whatsoever. So, I mean, you know, to those fans, I mean, you know, whatever. I feel bad that people are, you know, overlooking me, but you know, whatever. I've seems to a certain degree I've never gotten the respect in the sport, and I don't know if I ever will, but it doesn't bother me. I go in and I do my job. You know, I work hard. If people can't respect that, then fine. I don't, you know, it sucks that a guy that works his ass off, that maybe might not be as athletically talented as King Mo, can't get the respect in a sport that, you know, I've, you know, lived and died this sport for, you know, 12 years now. Right. So, you know, it sucks that I can't get the respect that I feel that I'm due. So, whatever. I'm gonna go in. It doesn't bother me. You know, I've been around this game way too long to buy into the hype. You know, he's a phenomenal wrestler. Other than that, I haven't seen anything else. Like I said, in Japan, he overpowered a couple guys that he was much bigger than, and you know, much more athletically talented. So
he's been labeled unorthodox as a striker. Does that mean bad? What does that mean?
That means he just doesn't have the time. He's amateur. Yeah. You know, he's an amateur, you know, striker. He hasn't had the time to put into the sport to to get a striking game together. So yeah, his punches are going to come from odd angles and crazy ways. But I got guys in my gym that are have 5 fights too, and they throw the same type of punches and kicks and crazy off balance stuff, and yeah, some of it lands.
So from a mental standpoint, do you feel like this could be a turn the corner type fight where, maybe in the past you couldn't cut loose, you felt like you were going to be a little gassed, you had to reserve some energy. Now that you're at a comfortable weight, can you go in there? Do you feel right mentally where you can just go gangbusters from the get-go?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're definitely, it's been a long time since I felt this good, this in shape, this big, once I can get my hands on him, he's going to be in trouble.
Real quick, looking ahead to the rest of this year, it's not much time, but 2010. Do you feel like also the heavyweight division might be turning the corner a little bit? I don't know if it's going to change completely, but because of what guys like Roy Nelson just did on the reality show, and what I'm saying is the bad body guys will have a spot where they're not so worried about how a guy looks, that he's ripped up, that it really shouldn't matter. If a guy's a little softer up at 240 to 260.
It really, honestly, I mean, yeah, it's good for TV, and I'm sure that the organizations want the ripped up bodies, for the organization. It's good for pay-per-view sales or, TV buys or whatever. But honestly, when it gets, you get an organization that really doesn't care. I mean, look at Fedor. That dude's not cut up at all. That dude will smash anybody out there.
They actually, in Chicago, they put him on the back page of the Sun-Times, I think the Wednesday before the fight, and they're like, this body and this guy is the best fighter in the world. They almost kind of mock on him.
Yeah, I heard about that, and that's ridiculous. I mean, it shouldn't matter. I mean, I obviously this time being a heavyweight, I'm not gonna have the best body going into. I feel good. I'm strong. I'm not as bad as Roy Nelson with a huge belly or anything, but Roy's got a good skill set, and he comes in there and he throws hard and he puts guys in trouble. So